أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, I'd like to welcome you to the 15th Halal and Tayyib Products Conference. In today's presentation of mine, I will show you the alternative proteins and potential health problems related to these proteins. I am Professor Dr. Hasan YETIM from Istanbul Sabahat Nizam University Halal Food and Center. I'm from the Department of Food Engineering. So first of all, let's start with the question of why protein. Proteins is your life basis and a lot of big psychological importance to the owner food components are present there. They're responsible for cell construction in the body to ensure growth and development and to renew the old ones, and protein-free nutrition is basically unthinkable. You can see the pictures in the presentation in the slides as well. Protein quality is also really of importance. The amount and the quality of the proteins found in foods is of great importance in terms of nutrition. The quality of a protein quantity, essential amino acids, number, and date with digestion or absorption is related to its condition. On the body, proteins that cannot provide the necessary amino acids are considered low quality and cause developmental retardation, especially in children. Therefore, proteins are divided into quality classes according to the amino acids they contain. Animal proteins consumption, for example. Therefore, it's very important for our bodies. Protein need. In balanced nutrition, quality protein needs since humanity exists because animal foods consumed by humans. For example, meat. Butchers are foods obtained from animal muscle and organ tissues, and the mostly from cattle, from meat production in the world, or bovine, chicken, animals, fish, and other products as well. Albeit a little, camel, horse, rabbit, deer, etc., with some wild animal meat is also consumed in different geographies. However, according to 2022 data, approximately in the world, while 700 million people are in hunger as well as malnutrition. Why alternative protein? World population is in numbers going to be in 2050 around 9 to 9.5 billion, reaching an available people number in the world. Agricultural production should be increased by 70%. Quality protein needs production of animal foods and consumption, most important of all to this request increasing. For example, global meat consumption is expected to be an average of 49 kilograms per person in 2050, which is 40% higher than the consumption amount of 2019. Here is the rapidly increasing demand for animal protein. Manufacturers and consumers are in search of alternative food resources. This stat is according to the Emerging Orphan 2021 data. According to FAO data, approximately 330 million tons of meat produced in the world in 2050. Farm your meals, clean this, and need to be more CO2, etc. greenhouse gases oscillation, with it's claimed that it increases global warming. However, it's not really a based information, we would say. Alternative protein production. Available alternative protein resources aspect: exotic animals, foreign, unusual, algae, edible, microbial, proteins, insects, artificial meat, meat products without meat, herbal proteins, mushrooms, milk-free, vegan, cheese, and produced by biofermentation and other products are being recommended in this case, which are all including protein. By saying exotic animal, we say unusual, foreign, or rare animals. Exotic animals. increased world population, animal protein demand, and diminishing agricultural resources, artificial meat production to be various from insects and some exotic animals is a source of protein. Consumption is being brought up. For example, in many categories, still some wild animals, rodents, mouse, rat, etc., monkey, hedgehog, and some reptiles, tortoise, frog, snake, lizard, crocodile, iguana, salamander, etc. has started to be grown for animal proteins needs. It's from Clean and Org 2007 and from Megino 2009. Again, in Africa, the need for animal protein of the people 80%. Monkey, hedgehog, squirrel, mouse, etc. from wild animals, unfortunately. It's reported that these meats are both cheap and luxury food in this region. Again, cat and dogs, training and trade for human consumption, especially in Asia and Africa, contemporary pet welfare topics is among the most controversial issues. An estimated yearly 20 million dog and unknown number of cats are trade subject with regard to consumption. And continuing our exotic animals topic, some Asia, African and American countries, even in Europe and the USA, crocodile, tortoise and frog production was made permissible, and the meat consumption is based on these products in luxury restaurants. And they are accepted as delicate kind of products, and thousands of tons of import and export is reported yearly. Only in Amazon and Congo, in the base 6 million ton year exotic animal is being produced, and their fleshes as well. Again, in some Asia, Africa, and American countries, many rodents, mouse of its kind, raised for food, and this hunger of animals is claimed also that it may be approximately in the world 5,000 mouse types, and these are 89 of them are still consumed by human beings. These animals are either gathered from nature or it's grown on private farms. So continuing our topic regarding exotic animals and their health concerns, basically. Murdered from meat, cat and dogs, usually collected from the streets. It is stolen from its owners or grown on private farms. However, in some cases, they are diseased animals. There are scientific studies on the fact that, for example, bats found coronavirus type, SARS-CoV, or it actually caused COVID-19 outbreaks that influenced the whole world, such as re-emerge. It should not be forgotten that it can come out from these type of animals, that they may carry some diseases. Again, around 300,000 tons annually in West Africa, mouse and rat produced. Although there are detailed research on the consumption of their meat, from where they are disease causers and related to sufficient information is reported, but they are still being consumed in these countries. Also, exotic animals overhunting aspect, excessive generations, natural balance, ecosystem, brokerage, they received foods because it is known that these animals, dangers that can be found in their meat should not be forgotten. For example, it is stated that many wild animals are now destroyed by hunting. However, hunger attracting in regions people, not including exotic animals, consumption mostly big. The problem is that these are difficult to accept by normal consumers, and in some studies, pathogenic bacterium, mold, virus, interference, heavy metal, pesticide, etc. contaminated is being shown. Exotic, wild, zero-infected zoonotic pathogens in pets that he also started to emerge. And people too are being exposed to these new new kind of diseases and the risk is too high, it is also being expressed. Also, the topic is related to microbial proteins, so let us start talking about this topic as well. So, microbial proteins, or the quality that made proteins animal feed by, be the only cell and food. It is a rich product. To this and bacterium, maya, or mold, and even molds, it can even be used in this production. In recent years, due to increasing interest in alternative protein resources, microbial proteins are being used a lot, especially in human nutrition. And these proteins are essential amino acids. There are a lot of amino acid content in these proteins, and it's reported that these are meeting the criteria determined by WHO, which is World Health Organization. Approximately today 100 much organism types microbial protein is being found. It is used in production: coli, subtilis, cerevisiae, utilis, chrysogenum, and javanicum. For this purpose, use bacteria, yeast, and mold types. Fungal proteins, mycoproteins. Mushrooms in algae, like person, food aspect use protein sources between proteins obtained from them. Mycoproteins is being called. They have become very fast popular because they have a similar taste and texture with meat. We call it Fusarium venenantum. Type from mushrooms is being get, and low resistant to cause droughts, floods, and etc. They are among the healthy protein sources that come to the forefront. During the production of mushroom proteins, added egg whites, taste aroma substances, functional compounds, healing herbs, and spices. Together, a white meat-like product can be obtained in part. So when it comes to health concerns regarding microbial proteins, what we can say is that corn bran is being produced with mycoproteins. Meat or chicken residents expect is sold in the market. However, mycoprotein allergy could be caused as well. And sometimes it causes nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and hives, and serious symptoms are being found. So it has been reported that people are exposed to these reactions. U.S. Food and Pharmaceutical Administration, FDA, we call it, has carried out an investigation since 2002, and they say that mycoproteins are likely continues to warn about risks. On the other hand, FDA and British Food Agency states that the reason for allergic diseases is very rare. With these proteins, they claim that it's trustworthy. Right now, for food and feed purposes, microbial protein production is most secure. Again, single-cell proteins research. These proteins, safe for human consumption and quality resources, has shown that it is between this criteria. However, related to microbial proteins may be the only concern used in production wastes, and it can be used as purification processes. It may not always be successful. When it comes to algae and water plant proteins, algae, blue-green algae, wild rice, chestnuts, and etc. Algae, it has been the source of protein of people living by the sea for centuries. Algae, microalgae, today 2.4 billion euro market value it has, with food most used in industry, only cellular organisms. Some water plants, seaweed, and algae, they can contain protein as meat, eggs, soy and milk. These are more compared to terrestrial plant proteins. High protein contain is being found in this. Also, algae, because they do not need clean water or land to grow, so that's why they're really advantages. So moving on to water plant proteins and health concerns. So seaweed themselves do not produce toxins. However, some toxin substances, especially cadmium and bolete and arsenic, mercury, heavy metals, is in question. Again, algae, it is rich in iodine. However, excessive iodine consumption is not healthy at all. Blue-green algae, spirulina, as a result of the wrong or excessive use, could cause headache, allergic reactions, muscle pain, sweating, insomnia, and such problems, basically. Also in this group, spirulina and chlorella, like micro or algae, it's like really heavy metals are being found in the structure, and some carcinogenic compounds have been reported that it's being carrying. These products, as it can pose a threat to human health, very strict inspections is in place. So alternative protein resources, artificial flesh, I would like to talk about that as well. Artificial meat, alternative meat, clean meat, culture meat, in vitro, expressing with different terms such as meat, animal-free meat, meat produced in laboratory, made artificial flesh, alternative to production, and vegan has come to the agenda as a result of the search for protein. Right now, to artificial meat, there is alternative for two artificial meat produced in the laboratory, culturally produced herbal-based meat analogs. However, some mold fungi and meat products made of insect protein are also available on the market. Alternative protein resources, artificial flesh. By World Economic Forum in 2018, world's most 10 important technology shown between artificial meat farm can replace animals, and alternative protein source, it has been shown as like this. And it says that it could be obtained like meat-like tissues, later shape, giving the shape, coloring, and spice-like formations. It could be produced in the laboratories, they says. And they say that it turns into edible meat products at the end. You can see cells with self-renewal and multiple differentiation characteristics in the pictures. Alternative protein resources, artificial flesh, cells in biocators, a special nutrient liquid, fetal bovine serum, FBS we call it, calf fetus serum, developed in using, especially in the mediums, amino acids, fatty acids, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, ions, enzymes, hormones, growth factors, and etc. And also in the fattening environment to prevent structures called scaffolding and contamination. High technology is required to remove metabolic products in the environment. Besides the fattening environment, suitable heat, light, pH, oxygen, electric current. After reaching a sufficient number of muscle tissues that grow under appropriate conditions, such as combined with certain food contributions compressed. The product obtained in terms of animal protein, rich, but because it does not look like meat in appearance, color, and taste, last product paint, nutrition, support, spices, and basically as a consequence, these substances are being added in order to form artificial meat. So this product, meat products, produced by chopped for suitable for production, well, for example, sausages, meatballs, hamburgers, and etc. Regarding the health concerns in the studies done so far between artificial meat and normal meat nutritionalism, there is no great difference in terms of these two, it's being reported. Since we do not have enough data, it's because of that, and your artificial meat is from normal meat. It says there it's more healthy or damaging, we don't know, basically. It's impossible to say at this stage, basically, but in the future, it is being the subject of the studies, but unfortunately, we don't have enough source in the literature. But artificial flesh, since it is produced completely in the laboratory from animals, many diseases that can pass will not be able to be found out in this. Hormones are being used, so it's impossible to use some growth factors and have contamination due to the production technology. That's why some in production antibiotic fungicide is being injected, and it's not really something that we may call healthy. Again, artificial meat, some vitamins and minerals in unnatural forms. With the addition, most probably will arise the problems which is currently unknown. In addition, some pastures that are not suitable for agriculture can only be evaluated by animal husbandry. In other words, more efficient meat meal production can be provided with animal husbandry in some areas. Artificial meat, according to farm animals, it's more advantages, it is being said, but artificial meat production to the environment, it can be much more harmful, it's also claimed. And again, artificial meat composition controlled by less cholesterol, saturated fat, and more vitamins, superior because they say so, but it's unnatural. So basically, it's obligatory to add B12 and Fe substances, iron substances, into the final product. And since it is not really natural thing to do, we may not expect much from this. And on the other hand, it's also metabolic abnormalities could be found in the development processes, but as I said before, it's unknown currently because of not enough concerns are there right now. But we can say, especially corrupted cells, dangers human life and negatively affects human health, we could say. There are a lot of very important allegations regarding that. But because of this uncertainty, even there's uncertainty, because of risks, artificial meat is prohibited in some countries today. For example, all kinds of food produced in the laboratory in Italy have been banned. And so we could say that there are a lot of concerns that it could be unhealthy. Existing inadequacies and uncertainties in artificial meat technology in terms of health, like halal and ethical, in terms of this, people's mind, it's not really clear as well. So it was really inevitable to be distant from artificial meat because of these uncertainties. And although some scientists or producers basically shows this or depicts this as kind of innovation, they cannot control some things in this, and it may lead most probably to some negativities, some negative situations in terms of consumer health. So there could be a lot of errors, and it's always possible. For example, some pathogenic bacteria, viruses, mushrooms could potentially be contaminated, and there could be some toxins that it's possible to produce. So since this is not natural, it's fetus plasma, it's already driving people from the beginning. It's basically driving away people. And there's another topic regarding insects. So insects' low production cause lessors use a lot of weak carbon releases for reasons such as alternative protein. It tracks attention as its source. In Africa, Asia, and South American countries, currently more than 2 billion variety of 2,000 bugs are being used, and 2 million people consumes this, unfortunately. And Grassless butterflies, caterpillars, and bees and ants are being used a lot in this production. On the other hand, we could say that it endangers human health as well. Basically, the most important problem with the insect consumption that is a little difficult except by consumers is it's basically insect that is causing allergic reactions at first, and it could cause poisoning and zoonotic diseases. Today in the world, as a human, hundreds of thousands of insect species are being consumed. 2,000 bugs, we could say, and it causes diarrhea. Insects, cockroaches, flower wolves, gabardwings, and grasshoppers are being consumed in many countries such as Korea, China, Vietnam, Uganda, Congo, Mexico, Peru, many Asian, African, and South American countries. The consumption of insects as proteins are really wide and being found a lot, unfortunately. The market size is currently $500 million, and in 2025 it's going to be, the growth is estimated to be $1.4 billion actually. So worldwide, the most consumed insect species: Coloptera, 31% ladybug, dirt beetle, etc. Lepidoptera, butterfly strain, moth, etc. 18%. Hymenoptera, bee ant, etc. 14%. Orthoptera, grasshopper, cricket, and etc. 13% is being consumed of this. And you can see the stats basically as part of the slides. So food content of edible insects. There are lysine, tryptophan, threonine, aromatic amino acids, and a lot of these substances are being found in some insects. Also, cholesterol is being found. Oleic, linoleic acids, palmitic acids, and fatty acids could also be found. And insects are also minerally rich in the iron content as well, especially Fe, calcium, copper, magnesium, zinc, and etc. And also in vitamin groups A, D, E, K, C, they contain vitamins as well. So according to the places they grow harmful microorganisms, there is interference with them. And it could be allergen or mycotoxin, and it could carry the risks. It is related to all edible insects, if to be honest. For example, bowel microbiota, it consumes 1 to 10% as total weight, and consumption per removal possible is not possible. And insects, some diseases for biological vector, they also carry risks. Chagas disease, for example. And basically in some studies in cockroaches, especially Entamoeba and Histolisica and Giardilla lambia is being found. It's causing megacelia, scalaris, and sarcopod type of parasites are being found in these insects. And in 4 different type of bugs, Salmonella, Listeria monocytogenes are being found to causing pathogenic bacterial types, has been reported to found. Gram plus in some bacteria types, in some bug types are being found as well. In raw insects, Enterobacteria urticae is being found. In flora and cricket, basically it's being found. Bacillus cereus is being found. So there are a lot of bacteria types that are being found in that causes diseases in insects. In biological vector aspect, they also carry risks. For example, also known as American trypanosomias, Chagas disease, protozoon Trypanosoma cruzi, cause, and potentially it's a life-threatening disease by World Health Organization. So, regarding insect consumption and some health concerns, we're continuing our findings here. For example, in China, there is a lot of anaphylaxis and shock syndromes caused by insect consumption. More than 18%. Allergic reactions with skin being found. Urticaria, itching, rash, flushing, angioedema, and intestinal problems, stomach ache, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea are being found. Respiratory way disorders, asthma, dyspnea is being found. Why they are being observed. And also there are 239 different types of allergens are being registered under the consumption of insects. And there are a lot of potentials that in shelled sea animals, for example, they trigger allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. In edible insects, virus-related diseases, because the number of publications related to the relevant viral-based risks, according to the other microorganisms, it's estimated to be low. Other problems related to insect consumption. There's a disgust and hate. It's boredom this causes. Psychological problems are being caused a lot. In some Asian countries and African countries, it's generally being found. And there are a lot of problematic aspects to this. Exotic animals and religious ethical concerns. In the 168 and 173 verses of Surah Baqarah, it says, "All people, those who are on the earth, eat from what is halal and tayyib." And a person need to be away from the things that God made haram for them. That animal, blood, pig, and the meat that is not for Allah, it's not being cut for Allah. Almighty Allah says that all mankind stay away from these products. And of course, predators with few examples of predators, birds with claw, fingernails, dirt-eating animals, mouse, insects, reported that by Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, that they are haram, basically. In Islam, haram acceptance made by animals and products such as pig, cat, dog, monkey, all types of this. Wild and predatory animals are also being found. Dirty animals, pests without flowing blood, insects, horse, donkey, mule, birds with clawed predators, wild and predatory animals, as we have said, animals forbidden to be killed, bee, ant, woodpecker, frog, can live both on land and water. So all of these prohibitions are in Islam and could be found in Judaism and Christianity as well. there are some concerns, of course, regarding the artificial meat, that we don't have enough information about the consumption and health conditions that may be related to the artificial flesh consumption. And artificial meat does not provide enough animal welfare. But when it comes to Islam, of course, there are two criteria that we need to touch upon. The stem cells to be cultivated should be halal and in Islamic way, should be applied to the animal and used for development of cells, and scaffolding environment is in accordance with the halal criteria. So all needs to be halal in this case. So thank you so much for listening to our basically this recording, and we'll see you in the next conferences inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.